who is an academic advisor council at EIMR and also an academician and chief academic officer at Indian Academic Group of Institutions, having a methodical and versatile approach to higher education with 25 years of teaching experience, including 12 years of academic administrative experience. Sir also has proficiency in learning and development with a focus on quality management in higher education, implementation of new UG and PG programs, and has also engaged in introduction of professional courses like ACK, USCMA, ACS, along with UG and PG programs offered in the institution. Sir has also successfully implemented the National Education Policy, an initiative by the Government of India at the Indian Academy Degree College, autonomous for all the UG programs in year 2021. Sir also has proficiency in finance and accounting subjects. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining in our webinar today.
Thank you, Isti, and welcome all of you students.
Thank you, sir. Now, just a brief introduction about the institution, EduCesta also. EduCesta Institute of Management and Research is the first of its kind entrepreneurship institute in Bangalore, the vibrant startup capital of India, with end-to-end solutions exclusively designed for entrepreneurs of various stages and scales. EIMR has put together all the key elements required to build sustainable and scalable businesses under one roof. Poised to elevate the startup ecosystem by equipping founders with the tools they need, EIMR instills entrepreneurial mindset that turns ideas into startup success. Now, the other speaker for this discussion for this webinar is Ms. Shilpa ma'am. Shilpa ma'am is head student engagement at Mindler with 25 plus years of experience in HR training and coaching. Having 25 years of experience in career guidance, life coaching, HR management, and teacher training, Shilpa ma'am brings a holistic purview of the entire education and skill building spectrum from schools to organization. Ma'am has a strong foundation in people management skills and holds a master's degree in psychology. Her expertise ranges from schools to business sectors, passionately delivering career workshops to thousands of students and professionals. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining the webinar.
Thank you, Ishti.
Now, just a brief, before I hand over to the speakers of the session, just a brief introduction about Mindler also. Mindler is India's leading career counseling firm, which focuses on helping students achieve career clarity. We have helped over 1 lakh students and partnered with more than 150 reputed schools across India to achieve the same. We have the world's most advanced career planning platform for schools, developed by a team of alumni from Harvard ISB, IIT, IM, and world's leading psychometrician and incubated by IIM Ahmedabad and ISB Hyderabad. We have also been awarded the Best Career Guidance Platform by National Startup Awards, Entrepreneur India, Education World. And we have also been awarded and recognized by the Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of State. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Now over to Shilpa.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Professor Suryanarayanan. Well, wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you, Ms. Shilpa Singh.
I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you. For all the aspirants and all the people who are online, we hear a lot about a BBA degree, and we tell students you should look at a BBA as an option. And the exciting thing about BBAs, which I find very interesting now, is they've become more popular as we've gone. When I did my BBA, I did a BBA and then an MBA. I did my BBA in, I'm going to age myself immediately, in about 93, 94 is when I finished my college, and I did a BBA then. In India, at that time, BBA wasn't very popular. At that time, everybody was pretty much going towards the BCom. But I found that the BBA that I did really set a brilliant foundation for me to be able to go forward and be able to do my MBA in a much more focused manner. Now, when to do an MBA and things like that is a separate conversation. So the BBA actually, for me, set a very good foundation. It gave me an introduction to management as a function and as a career. However, and this is something that I would want us to go over and be able to speak about, and I think when we do, a lot of people will come up to me now, and as a career coach, when we're talking about a BBA, especially for a student who's keen on entrepreneurship or who's looking at management as the future, and we say, look at a BBA, the assumption is, oh, this is a degree that's not going to do much for me, right? Oh, what will I do with a BBA? Without really understanding that you're setting the foundation for something brilliant here. So that's what I want to be able to actually spend time with Professor Suryanarayanan, also to be able to kind of dispel some of those myths, to be able to help understand better about BBA, so that when we're looking at entrepreneurship, we're looking at management, we're looking at getting into any function that requires system, process, structure, and an administrative thought process, doing something with the process, a BBA is a brilliant way to go there. Having said that, a lot of times when we work with students and they say, look, do I need to be from commerce or do a BBA to become an entrepreneur and become successful? Technically, no, you don't. Does it help? 120% it helps, because you'll actually learn how to build structure into the system. So starting from that, I'm going to start with the most obvious question that would come based on what I've just said. So, sir, in your opinion, how does a BBA program really equip students with, say, like a foundational knowledge necessary if you're looking for a career in business? So if you could share some thoughts with me on that, I would love to be able to hear from you.
Thank you. Absolutely, I've hit the right target there. BBA program focuses on three things, particularly with the advent of national education policy by the government of India. The focus is on three things. Basic thing is focusing on the basic functional areas of business, right from finance, marketing, HR, operations to business analytics, digital marketing, etc., which
Right.
are the basic key functions of areas of management, what an organization needs in its setup. In addition to that, the focus more is on skill development. With the advent of APP, skill development in the sense, more weightage is given, ample of opportunity, scope is given in the syllabus or curriculum for skill development of the students, whether it is employable skills, transformational skills, or it is soft skills, analytical skills, etc., or research skills. There's a lot of power packed, opportunities for the students, which is embedded into the current curriculum. As we go through the curriculum, one will know that there is a
Right.
lot of opportunity for skill development. And the third thing is experiential learning. Today's BBA is different. Absolutely. When you mentioned that we all did our BBA, even I did my BCom and then my MBA somewhere in the year 96. But there is a lot of change today, and digital transformation has happened, and artificial intelligence, blockchain technology have become inseparable part of business today. So one cannot say or think of doing a BBA program without having an idea on artificial intelligence or blockchain technology. So today's curriculum is embedded with all these things, is what I would like to say. So basically, these are the three things which a BBA program focuses now.
So I'm glad you brought up the digital element and the artificial intelligence element there, because that kind of leads me to my next thought. I mean, when we talk about a BBA and most people think of a BBA, they think of the commerce sort of understanding, right? You're going to learn accounts, you're going to learn finance, and you're going to learn those things. So when we're talking about these aspects and we're talking about the whole digital side of it, with technology rapidly advancing, especially with AI coming in for a lot of things, how do you feel like BBA programs are adapting to teach students about things like digital transformation or e-commerce? I think you mentioned data analytics and business analytics. So how do you think the programs have sort of evolved to do that now? And for your institute specifically, how do you feel that's been done?
Actually, when you look at specifically our institute, and Karnataka has followed right now the National Education Policy Scheme, where across all the programs and exclusively for BBA, we have something called a skill development aspect, where digital transformation is a part of this curriculum, where we are teaching from, basics of what is MS Office, including Excel, Word, etc., up to, Power Business Analytics, or if it comes to financial modeling, or it could be digital marketing, or it could be blockchain technology. These are all coming as a part of the curriculum. Earlier, probably when you or I did my BBA, we had to take separately these kind of courses, which were not a part of the curriculum. But now this is reflecting in the transcript itself, that this is tested by the university itself, that digital marketing is a part of that. Similarly, there are a lot of other opportunities for skill development. As I told you, it could be Python or R programming for business analytics students or BBA students. This is actually a part of curriculum. So they will be studying it as a subject and they give it as an exam. And it is packed with full of these kind of digital courses in the BBA curriculum itself by the university.
Wonderful. You're right. Because, I mean, honestly speaking, my BBA qualification now would be not equipped to be able to handle today's world. In the 4 Ps of marketing and when being able to learn, the digital element wasn't there at all, which I think, of course, is an element that has to be there now. You can't do without it.
In fact, it's one of the compulsory courses now embedded with BBA, because our syllabus now, as per the National Education Policy curriculum, this is a new curriculum that is developed. After each year, students have the provision to exit. After first year, he can exit with a certificate. After second year, diploma, and third year, graduate. And now, after fourth year, he gets an honors. That provision also is there until now. We have some of the ability enhancement course, compulsory courses, and digital transformation is one compulsory course that all these graduates have to compulsorily do it every semester.
I think that's brilliant. And I think it's very important to do that. There's another area that's become far more in focus than there was before. I mean, especially when I was in college, you were in college, and when we were looking at it, and I know I know I sound like a dinosaur. But sustainability was not part of the thought process. We weren't looking at things from a sustainability lens. It was still a very different viewpoint to the world, which I think, honestly speaking, probably contributed to more of the mess that got created. But when we're looking at sustainability, how are BBA programs, do you think, preparing students to be able to lead more sustainable business initiatives, in your opinion?
Fantastic. This is a point to be made now, and this is a point in discussion. Sustainability integrated course. In fact, all the courses within BBA are an integral part of the, sustainability is an integral part of it. For example, we could discuss today about green marketing initiative, or we take into account that ESG factors, environmental, social, and governance, is a part of all the modules. That is how the syllabus is embedded. For example, when we teach them auditing, we teach them the ethical leadership today. Similarly, the recycling. Today, I'm not sure, because I am from Bengaluru. Today, we are facing a lot of water crisis, recycling of water. How do you make use of that? And how do you use it for different purposes, agriculture purposes, the recycled water, etc. Today, anything we do, we cannot be independent of the sustainability. All the courses are embedded with sustainability, and sustainability becomes, for example, green marketing we are talking today. We are talking about corporate social responsibility, institutional social responsibility. So we talk about ethical leadership today, and we teach auditing, we teach ethical practices today in finances, or green marketing we call, or green finance we call. So definitely, if you take all the courses, one of the aspects embedded with all of these courses, irrespective whether it is HR, marketing, finance, sustainability is an integral part of it. So definitely, there is a lot of scope for students to learn and then focus on the sustainability aspects.
I think that's brilliant. And I think it's very, in terms of how it needs to be, it's very to the point what needs to happen.
Yeah.
We're also looking at the element of that whole divide of, I'm going to, the whole element of not being part of the global market, that's gone. I mean, even when we saw that. So how do you think BBAs, I mean, the one thing that comes into mind is most students will say, like, with the BBA, will I be able to get a job in a global situation or in a global market? So how do you think the BBA degrees are preparing students for sort of global opportunities?
There are three things to it. Mainly, number one, the curriculum is also embedded with global aspects such as international finance we are talking today, or international economics we are talking today, cross-cultural management. So curriculum embedded with that is one part of it. And secondly, there are many institutions like EIMR, where we are trying to have a tie-up with the cross-border institutions, particularly in the entrepreneurship programs, where they can go and get certificate programs there. They can have a certificate there, have that experiential learning, like how it happens outside India, globally. So the specialty of EIMR is to provide a lot of certification courses, even outside India, to have that experience, student learning experience will be enhanced through these kind of programs. And some credits they earn from outside India as well. And the third thing is, we are providing opportunities of virtual internships. Virtual internship is where if you cannot go outside India all the time, it may not be possible for student, in which case we would like to have an established MOU with organizations outside India or institutions outside India, where we can give that kind of learning experience to students because of the technological advancements today, where they can sit and have that experience of how things happens cross borders, and then what are the strategies they do, for example, ADRs or GDRs, how they work, etc.
Right.
It's possible, actually. That prepares a student, of BBA today to take up the global assignments as well. And we have a lot of examples of students going abroad. It matters like which kind of institute you study, what kind of opportunities are opening up for you in that institution. These things has to be researched by the students.
Yeah, no, and for, of course, on apart from the students researching, we are here to be able to help students be able to learn about those different career paths as well. And at Mindler, I know we do that very, we do that both in the BBA element and otherwise as well. So you talked about the fact that, a lot of students have gone abroad. A lot of students, there is the whole digital transformation. There's the analytics. There is all that. So what are some of the diverse sort of, careers and things that have opened up for BBA graduates, and how does a BBA degree sort of open up these opportunities?
See, if you look at the opportunities are wide, starting from a financial analyst who will look into the market analytics, study the market, and then prepare strategy for informed investment decision, to a marketing strategist who will launch the marketing campaign, digital marketing or search engine optimization, AdWords, etc. From there to there, or management consultant who can work under a management consultant and then develop his own consultancy to becoming an entrepreneur. Today, the opportunities are very wide. And if you look at the way Bangalore, especially as a hub for startups, according to the recent report by NASSCOM, I think more than 7,000 startups have happened in Bengaluru, and it is considered to be number one in the entire South Asia and one in the nation. And there's a lot of opportunities, venture capitalists coming and supporting the graduates with coming with novel idea, be it starting from Flipkart, Myntra, or a solution like Practo. See, today's BBA makes students more resilient and critical thinking, risk-taking attitude, instilling them that kind of attitude through experiential learning, giving them cooperative programs, live case studies, asking them to solve the societal problems, simple solution to the problems like Zepto, Blinkit. These are the kind of starters where fund is not a problem. There are many people who come forward to finance your project. But we want to instill that innovative thinking and critical thinking among students who come with those novel ideas. And there are people to support. Venture capitalists, a lot of people are there to support. And especially EIMR is well known for entrepreneurship, where there is a launch pad and a lot of support is given in terms of finance to the students if their projects is very good. And we prepare them to take up that. So that is like more challenging, and that is how the students are nurtured at EIMR, I could say that.
That's brilliant, because I think that base, not getting that base, ends up being something that students get stuck with. What I want to be able to understand from you is, we're talking about sort of like elements that are, like you said, like there are skills that students are evolving and building. They're looking at the whole digital element. They're understanding that technology is going to interface. Where do you see business education evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? What do you think in terms of skills and knowledge should BBA programs focus on in order to stay relevant? I mean, your institute's got those elements here in, but what do you think in general should be the thing? Where do you see it going education-wise?
In 5 to 10 years, definitely the digital transformation is going to take its bigger role here in management education, because these two things will be inseparable in nature. Those who want to be good at management should also be good at technology, because everything, when you look at it now, today is technology driven. So absolutely digital, you have to be a digital citizen. And I know Gen Z students presently who are all here as a part of this seminar and globally, they're all netizens. They are digital students. They know how to launch a campaign in the social media and all those things. So this is how it is going to take, in future. And globalization of cross-cultural business. So people coming, student exchange program, these are all going to be a part of the BBA program. So many institutions are sending their students outside India or inviting students outside India to our campuses here on a student exchange program, faculty exchange program. And then we make global leaders to come online or come in campus and then share their experiences. That is what makes things very different in future. That is how a BBA course should be run in future. Moving away from the conventional teaching of chalk and talk or a sage on the stage kind of a concept, to student-driven or learner-centered, oriented education, where teachers here we are only the facilitators, making the students to do by himself, understand the dynamics of business environment. And more than that, agility and adaptability today's BBA focuses on agility and adaptability. Frequent curriculum developments are happening either from the university or from the institution, because we are offering a lot of certificate programs, as I mentioned to you, like Python or R programming or digital marketing or search engine optimization specialization, or it could be financial modeling, where three-statement financial modeling is understood by the student. So BBA prepares a student for a very wide variety of business functions. So he'll be able to adopt, and he'll be resilient to the changes that are happening dynamic, with the external environment, is what I feel. And so, blockchain technology could be a course that you may have to do your business sitting and doing networking with the individuals, and then adapt yourself to the blockchain technology. Or big data analytics we are talking today. How do we extract that big data? What are the uses of it? How can we make use of that big data to the business today? These are the lines on which we are thinking, and preparing students to take those challenges. This is how the business education is perceived in the next 5 or 10 years, according to me.
Yeah, no, very valid points. And I think I agree with you that we are going to have to end up getting far more tech focused and being able to look at how tech evolves and connects with each part of business function. So I would love to be able to know more for your institute. What are some of the undergrad degrees in management that you offer in a BBA process in terms of specializations and things? Because I know you mentioned like certificate programs are there for R or for Python or for being able to do those. So it would be great to be able to have the students know about undergraduate programs that your institute offers, if there are specific in terms of specializations or general, in terms of what happens for business. That students can come there.
Absolutely. See, there are 3 things we are focusing on. Number 1 is getting a regular BBA degree from a recognized university is one part of it, where you have focusing on different functional areas like finance, marketing, HR. And as you progress further, you can specialize in, finance specialization, marketing specialization, HR specialization, entrepreneurship specialization. Number 2 is giving a separate entrepreneurship program right from semester 1, where they will be introduced to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, incubation, working with that kind of an opportunity. We have created opportunity and platform for students where they can work with founders of startups. That's a wonderful opportunity for the students, where they can share their experiences, come out with their idea, go out in the market and do a market study, feasibility report. And from there, that building that ecosystem. And finally, by the time the student reaches final year, he's all set to start his own startup, and, he will develop that idea. People are here to nurture them. In terms of marketing that, or prototyping or incubation, all those opportunities are there. Plus, we have about 10 certificate programs which are in line with the curriculum and the entrepreneurship which is required for today. These are not just like, we have soft skill tech programs, we have Python programming, we have a certificate program. What we are thinking now is to have an MOU outside India, go there and then have that learning experience, see how things happen across cross borders and what kind of strategies they do, what is cross culture.
Interesting.
Talk to the students of institutes outside India, have that learning experience, come back with that rich experience. So we triangulate all these things like, regular BBA plus the entrepreneurship certificate. It more so prepares a student, market ready. And there is an opportunity because we are having 2 types of programs here. Entrepreneurship and new venture creation is one part. Then we have family managed business also, a course exclusively for students who come with the business background. Family managed business. How do we, how do we break the traditional rules, and then how do we cross that, and how businesses should be managed? Not that they are successful, but what is required for today in the year 24 and beyond. So we make them to think differently. And then there's a lot of networking opportunities for the regular students to come and work as co-founders with them. And followed by that, nothing stops them in taking up their own, assignments in the companies also.
Correct.
Although our focus is on creating entrepreneurs, and these people should create job for others. Nothing stops them to work as a co-founder and then start their own, they can be still enterprising in their own areas, and they can get opportunities in either finance, marketing, HR, nothing stops, because they are empowered already with all these kind of knowledge, and then great, certifications like this. Definitely
Right.
double or 10x possibilities of getting employed than a regular BBA is what I feel.
I think that's wonderful, and I'm glad. And I'm glad, there's that element for entrepreneurship focus, getting them that hands-on thing. So I do want to be able to know, at your institute, I mean, in terms of experiential learning
Yeah.
opportunities or types of internships where students can gain actually practical knowledge. Because see, a lot of times students come into it with an assumption of what something's going to be, and then not realizing when they do it, they realize, oh, this is all the things that are required in it. And being able to get that opportunity. So what kind of experiential learning or internship opportunities are there at your institute?
See, there are a variety of internship opportunities, starting from the traditional internship where generally all the colleges follow this, where a student goes to a company and then prepares a report as to pick up a particular aspect of it and specializes in that, interacts with people, and then design a questionnaire and come back with this report is a traditional internship, which they have to do as a part of the curriculum. Apart from this, where do we stand out is externship, where we place a student with a manager. He will be shadowing that manager, learning how a manager functions on a day-to-day basis in his operations. So this could vary from number of days to number of weeks. He just sees how a manager tackles the problems that may arise in the course of business, and then talks to him, interacts with him, and do some action research report, etc. Followed by this, we have some that is called externship. Followed by this, we have a startup internship, where we place the students with a startup company or a founder, and then he has the opportunity to interact and understand what are the challenges that could arise for a startup, and then how do they tackle a real-time solution for those things is one. And we ask them to work with incubators, business incubators we have, and somebody will be facilitating them here from the institute. So these kind of internship. Then social internship, where the students work on their strategies to bring in a positive difference in the society. Some of them can work on that as well. Today we are talking about sustainability, global management, and then we talk about social causes. So there is a lot of opportunity for students to work on their strategies in terms of bringing social changes and positive impact in the society. And followed by that, as I already mentioned, we have provisions for virtual internship, where we always cannot go to companies. It may be very difficult sometimes. So in that case, what we do is we give an exposure where we have an MOU with the industry, or inside India or outside India. So say we can have access through the online, and then look at how things are happening there, how production takes place, and have an interaction with some senior manager there, and do an interview, and then reflect those things in their report. So there are different types of internship, scaled at different phases of their BBA program. That is what makes us stand out in the crowd.
That's wonderful. I like the wide variety. I especially like the fact that you get to go and be able to work in a startup, or you can do something that's more, like a service-oriented kind of a thing, to get a taste of everything. That's a really good idea to be able to do.
Absolutely.
Because the startup becomes a major thing.
Reduce the gap between the theory and the practice. Always what happens with traditional BBA program is that the professor comes and teaches in the class, and students learn the theory aspects, and it stops there. But what we found, when they go for interviews, they are not exposed to the actual challenges.
That's true.
There is a problem. Now the industry don't want these people, we teach them how to prepare a balance sheet, and it stops there the moment they get the answer. But we want to give them a balance sheet and ask them to see what is the problem that you foresee here. You must, you are trained here to analyze a balance sheet and then interpret what could be the challenges that company could face in the near future. Looking at the balance sheet, you should be able to establish that fact. So we are going to train them like that. It's not that we are happy asking them to calculate only and then see that the balance sheet tallies, but it is beyond the classroom, beyond the balance sheet. There are so many other things that what are the implications of them? What are the implications of these results? What do the numbers mean in reality? And how do we fill that gap? This can be reduced when they are interacting with the startup ecosystem, with the leaders and entrepreneurship, venture capitalists, etc. When we give that opportunity to them, they really understand what is the problem in actual world.
Right.
it will reduce that gap. They are really exposed to that. And when somebody comes to the interview, they are not like, wondered that this is a difference between what we learned in the classroom and what we actually face. What are the challenges? So this is very, very important to have that experience, first-hand learning experience for the students. That is where we are trying to focus on.
Yeah, and that's very valuable because I mean, going back to my BBA, it was mostly theory based. I mean, there was no element of you had to do an internship or you had to do things. A lot of it was theory based. So when we came into the working world, without an MBA immediately after was impossible to be able to work. But if you're looking at more experiential work, you're looking at the internships during your BBA, you're going to be able to get a job at some level right away after you're doing your BBA and be able to then go forward and then build from there. And if you choose to do an MBA later, this, that, the other, that's a separate story. And that's a different thing altogether. So because there are so many different elements there, what would be things that you look for in students? So what is the eligibility criteria you look for in students? What's the process for students to be part of your institute? Do I need to come from a purely commerce background? What are the kind of things that you will look for in a student when you're looking at the admission process?
Definitely. See, BBA is an open program. It is not necessary that you should be a commerce student. As a science student, for example, I was a science student. I took up my BBA course later. In fact, irrespective of your background, if you have that flair or if you're passionate about your becoming an entrepreneur or starting your own, setup or,
Right.
that entrepreneurial mindset, one need to be open-minded. One need to be curious about the aspiration of becoming an entrepreneur. Not just starting a startup is the meaning of entrepreneurs. Otherwise, also in your jobs, you can be an entrepreneur. You can bring the differences in the place where you work.
Absolutely agree.
New program. So entrepreneurship, being a marketing consultant, you can be enterprising, or being a finance manager of a company, you can be still enterprising. And being a HR manager, you can be still enterprising. So that innovative thinking and that mindset of the student is what we are looking at. Absolutely, we are not driven by the marks secured by the student at this point in time. The eligibility criteria is, of course, pass in the +2 or pre-university, as in Karnataka, is the basic criteria, entry criteria. But we would like to talk to the student to know his mind or her mindset. Like, it's not a program just you walk in and then continue another BBA degree. Here, you should come with that kind of a passion. That is what we are looking at. What makes a person different when you enter the course is you should like that course. You should be passionate about what you are doing. Just like an IAS person who wants to take up civil services is very passionate about it. Students of business should also be very passionate about doing this course and open-minded and curious and ready to adapt to the changes. Accepting the challenges, that risk-taking attitude. We want to nurture that at each and every stage. Apart from the regular degree, we are, please mind all the students that we are nurturing you. We are curating actually that kind of entrepreneurship mindset among the students right from semester 1. You have a certificate program going parallelly with your BBA degree until 6 semesters. So by the time you reach 6th semester, I am definitely sure that you would have a very rich, what you call that experience, learning experience, interacting with managers, real-time problems, and providing solutions in the real world of business. So I'm sure that you will all be set to take off as a budding entrepreneur or into a great job as a co-founder, etc.
I really like the fact that you're not looking at, any particular stream area, anybody from all students from all streams are coming in, and that you're looking for that passion. So I'm assuming that the student, if they've done extracurricular, co-curricular in school, that's going to be something you're going to consider. I see from the chat that's been answered by your team, I think there is an interview process where you spend time speaking to students as well, which is great, I think, because sometimes it's true. In my marks, I may not be able to completely reflect all my passions. And I may have had a bad day in terms of how I've given my tests or my exams. That shouldn't preclude me from being part of being able to create something exciting. I think that's wonderful. And I think that's great that you're giving that opportunity. I would also like to be able to know, like, if students are applying to your college and you're looking at a wide variety of students, are there elements like scholarships also available? And how do students then access these scholarships if they are available?
Absolutely. There is some scholarship here that is available for meritorious students. Of course, that depends on, there is some criteria.
Right.
Like what is his marks in the +2 and recommended by the head of the institutions where they study. So these cases are taken by the management and they discuss and then definitely provide that opportunity. There is a 100% fee waiver for tuition fee waiver for students who are really meritorious and who are deserving candidates. But for that, it is better for the student to walk in or talk specifically to the admission team who would be able to guide them on specifics of it. But I am sure definitely there is a lot of opportunities for getting scholarship here at our
Wonderful. That's great. So I would like to be able to have you share also with students. I mean, because you've shared a lot of information about, what the courses are, how they're offered. There's a lot of certificate courses. There's a lot of things you're helping students in terms of getting exposure. What are some of the tips that you would like to be able to share with students who are aiming to study at your institute? What would be like your words of wisdom to somebody who's looking at wanting to get there?
First of all, see, focus on the practical aspects of it. Generally, when you select an institution, you should look at whether that institution offers or gives more focus on practical aspects, which we are doing. Actually, there is a lot of opportunities for the students to go out and do their projects and having invited professionals from different setups and coming here and interacting with students. You may have to look into, because we are specialized in giving different type of certification. Every year, academic year, we have planned for certain specific certifications, which are provided by the experts. For example, Amazon, AWS, somebody was asking about the business analytics. Business analytics is a part of BBA here. You don't have something to do only in business analytics because our focus is main on the business. So what are the analytics that are important to business? As I told you, are programming, data science, or is it big data, or Internet of Things, IoT, or Python programming. So these are some of the certification courses that are embedded alongside that business course. What you do, whatever is relevant and appropriate for this business programs, we have designed those certification courses, which students will do in addition to the BBA regular course that they do here. Point number 3 is that you need to be passionate about your course, more importantly, and look around for these kind of skill development opportunities. As I told you, there is ample opportunities as per the curriculum by the National Education Policy for skill development. But how are we going to provide opportunities for the students through these skill developments, and what kind of skill development activities we have is what makes us different from that of others. So I always tell the students to talk to the mentors, talk to us, one-on-one conversation. Probably we will be able to connect you better and then solve your questions, whatever doubts you have, provide clarifications and clarity to that. And similarly, there is a lot of opportunities for students to network here, because we have a section of family managed business students who come with that background, and we have students coming without those backgrounds. There are a lot of ample networking opportunities for the students where they can join hands with somebody else and networking from the beginning, or since there is a lot of scope for them to go and work with different startups or different companies, they can nurture that, and then they can use that opportunity to start their own. And more importantly, being an open-minded and being curious about their passion in pursuing entrepreneurship, program is what I feel is very important. Here, and students should study for that reason and chose EIMR as their institute for pursuing their BBA program.
That's wonderful. And I think that's really great tips as well to be able to have. So you're located in Bangalore, you're in a city that is got the highest startup rates. You've got, in terms of being able to give them that exposure, that's brilliant exposure for a student to be able to get. There is a question in the QA. I think if you could just clarify a little bit, the externship and the internship, if you could just clarify the internship for students again, because I thought the externship idea is very cool. So if you could just clarify that again for students so they have clarity there.
Generally, a traditional internship is where student goes to an organization and then studies about the organization structure and picks up a particular area, either in finance, marketing, HR, if it is finance, they look into their financial statements, see how the financial performance of the company, give a report, etc. Or if it is in case of HR, look at their recruitment strategies or particular, absenteeism, etc. But externship is an opportunity where we place that student to work with a manager, shadowing him. See, what happens is you go and work with a finance manager, you go and work with a marketing manager. Daily, what he does from morning to evening, how is the life of a marketing manager, senior position? What all he does from the morning? What kind of challenges, he comes across? How do he, interact with people? What kind of solutions he provides? So you just shadow him and then Q&A and then prepare a report and then submit here, share with your friends here that this is what is the experience. And then one person sharing the experience multiplied by 60 students going to 60 different organizations and then shadowing the respective managers, coming and sharing their experience in class would be of a great, learning experience to the students. That is called externship, where it is not like compulsory as per the BBA course, but EIMR here, what we do is we provide an opportunity for students to exchange their thoughts like that, go there and then look at them, how they take decisions, how do they interact with people, or how do they make strategies, make a note of all those things, come here to the class and share their experiences is what externship is looking at. This may vary from few days to few weeks. Unlike an internship where you have to work for a few months.
Right.
Project, externship is little different and gives a different experience. A lot of opportunity for them to interact on their daily issues, daily challenges that a senior manager would face in an organization, and the type of decisions that he takes and the factors that he considers while taking those decisions is very, very important for students to know.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. And I hope the student or the person who had asked that question to know the difference has sort of understood the difference more. And I think an externship is a great idea, because I think what ends up being missing for a lot of BBA students is that practical understanding where, yeah, I've gone and made a questionnaire and I've looked at something and done one project, and it's not really getting it done anymore. You really do need to get very practical in your exposure here. In terms of being able to get the major knowledge of and information that I wanted to get across, I've got. If you could do your BBA again, I suppose, or your base degree again, what do you feel you would have a higher advantage on now? I just want to be able to get your perspective as a personal thought. Like if you were doing a business education, one of the degrees that your college offers, what do you feel would have ended up being some of the courses you would have picked up now in today's mindset, like if you had that opportunity now? And what do you think your advantages would have been in the market now?
See, doing a BBA degree with us equips the student to face today's challenges.
Right.
Here, we all have done our BBA degree and we did our MBA, we got ranks. But even after MBA, if I have to be very true to myself, that we did not get that exposure to the industry.
At that time, no, we didn't.
New to the industry. When we went, we were as good as BBA. BBA would just be an extension. MBA would be just an extension of BBA. We would study some more theory, some more things like that.
Yeah,
today's students, I'm very happy because they are well aware of the market. And they are very bright and innovative and creative. And, there is a lot of, for example, we did not have the opportunity to work with a smart board. Our time was using OHP, overhead projector.
Oh my goodness, I remember those.
Boards. We have different ways of learning. Actually, see, for example, students can launch a digital marketing campaign on social media. Could be the assignment on which they work. But this we were deprived of, these kind of opportunities where the learning experience would be fantastic for today's student. And any institution like EIMR, we nurture it, that, we identify what is the talent in that student, see what can be done best for him, what is the prototype on which he wants to work. And then if some student has an idea, that is all it makes difference. See, when I had an idea, when I met my professor, he said, okay, this is all very difficult, not possible kind of things. Now, today, it's not like that. If you have an idea, we nurture it. We see how possible, what are the best things that we could do to nurture that idea and add something onto it and become a facilitator where student can create a lot of differences. And if you look at the way people are innovating, young chaps, as I mentioned to you, from Flipkart to Ola to Practo, providing solution for the common social problems. What best I can do? How can I be innovative? See, a lot of startups, people are coming with that mindset, and Bangalore, being a place of startups, provides that ecosystem. And then you start thinking like that, you how to be innovative. How can I provide solution to the social problems? What can I do today? That kind of a mindset is created. A lot of opportunities are there for
Absolutely.
like that, which was not there, which would jeopardize, for us earlier.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I think you're right. I mean, when we were going in to be able to do our MBAs, it was very theory based, and we were coming from theory to theory and not really realizing that when we went into the practical element, the course material was not equipped because the market didn't require that, right? And now
Because
the market
my
requires you come.
interaction with my interaction with prospective employers, when I talk to them, they say your students have many colleges. This is what happens. They are getting 80%, 90% because they are taught something, and we test them what we taught. We did not test them in terms of what market actually needs.
That's true.
We teach a question and then we provide a solution, and that mode of teaching and learning happens. Today's teaching and learning should be pitched at a different level. Despite of getting a minimum mark, you should be a performer in the market is what we expect.
Right.
Although marks are important, but we were coaching only that examination oriented. This comes for exam. No, if you prepare for this, you get 80%. That is the reason why many times we realize that students who are very successful in their, academics need not be a very successful person in life.
I completely agree.
The students who got all first ranks in +2 and 10, what are they doing? They are become, a good employee. That's all. But what happened to those backbenchers who were performers, who did well in the market? They have created job for others. This is a fact in my life. I have realized that life is different. It has a lot of things, and there's a long way for students to go. That is what we should focus on. So
I completely agree. Yeah. There is a question that's there that said that what are some of the tips for choosing the best specialization? I have my thoughts on this as well. So, but please feel free to share your thoughts first. Any tips that you have for choosing the specialization? I mean, I have a different opinion on this.
Yeah. See, first 2 or 4 semesters, there is no specialization. All the students will study all the subjects, being HR, marketing, finance, logistics, digital marketing, all are important. For a businessman, for a student of business, it is important for us to know some bit of accounting, some bit of finance, some bit of marketing strategies. That is how, that is what makes this BBA program stand out in the crowd than BCom. BCom altogether is a different cup of tea, orienting towards accounting and finance only. And those people who are doing CA and they end up as that. But BBA gives you opportunity, look into marketing, HR, bit of finance. When balance sheet is given to you, you should be able to make some inferences out of it. Similarly, you should know some marketing strategies. Similarly, you should be aware of the training and development or recruitment strategies.
Agreed.
So specialization happens only after 4th semester, 5th and 6th semester, where you can choose into marketing, HR, or finance, or logistics, or entrepreneurship as your specialization. So that depends on your interest. So 4 semesters, you will have your academic journey, and by then you should be clear, like what is your taste. You want to go into HR, that depends on your taste and preferences. Like you are number oriented and number is your cup of tea, you can go into finance. If you feel that, no, I am good in making strategies, interacting with people, communicating with them, I enjoy something related to advertising and I have a flair for marketing, then interact with people. Or if you say that I am good at human resources and people skills and negotiation, etc. By then you would have realized, and we would also help you in identifying your strengths and weaknesses. We are going to map individual students and identify where they can be best suited. It is too early for us to tell what specialization a student should choose. Instead, the first 4 semester is going to be common, and we equip students with all the necessary skills, and we do the due diligence so that students are well equipped across the functional areas of business. And later, by that time, students will have a clarity in their thought, I'm sure about this, and they would decide which area of specialization would suit for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a good idea to be able to go with a set mindset of what your specialization should be right away, because you've not had that exposure. And only when you're studying something and you get the exposure to everything, are you able to really understand this is what I really enjoy, or this is something that really drives me to be able to do well. And then you're able to pick your specialization better. When I got exposed to all the areas and then chose human resources, I also really enjoyed marketing as well. And I thought,
Yeah,
oh, this could be interesting. But then I leaned more towards the HR side. So I said, okay, that's where I want to go.
absolutely.
And so going with the preconceived notion, I don't think really helps that much. You're
No,
gonna, I
unless
think,
they have a
pigeonhole
very
yourself.
strong, flair to do something, it is
Yeah.
better to experience everything and then take on from there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Other doubts or questions that we students want to be able to pose, please feel free to do that in the chat now. We'll open the chat up for a little bit more questions. I think we only have about like 8 minutes left on the time. So if there are any doubts or questions that you have, feel free to ask. Anything specific about the institute you want to know, things you want to know about the course structures, anything else you want to know in detail. So please do that. Oh, somebody had asked about the institute. I think so. Yeah, it's a residential institute with a hostel facility. So that's available as well. So that's great. So students from all over the country are, of course, able to apply to the institute. I really like the fact that you're looking at a wide variety of students from different areas. You have a process of interacting with the students to figure out what it is that they're interested in. We're not basing it only on what are the grades you got, what are the marks you got, but a lot more on what is your interest, what is your passion. I think that's a very important thing to do. Any other doubts, questions, or confusions we can answer? Hold on, there's something in the Q&A. Can we do a BBA with a CA, chartered accountancy and BBA together? Oh, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, somebody can pursue chartered accountancy, but after completing BBA, you can write your inter CA and then pursue your final, because chartered accountancy is a professional program. Because chartered accountancy, I think if you're not aware of that, you have to cross the first barricade as the entrance test eligibility to enroll into chartered accountancy, then pursue your inter, and then take a break of 10 months, work with as an associate with the chartered accountant firm under a qualified auditor, and then take up your final exams. But if your aim is doing only chartered accountancy and nothing else, then I think you should go for BCom would be better than BBA. Unless you are not very sure that chartered accountancy would help BBA. So my answer would be, yes, you are eligible to do your CA even after BBA, but you have to complete your BBA and then take up your CA. Both cannot go hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think hand in hand, though, I think practically not possible. I think it would, just because there's so much work that's there,
Yeah.
that happens in the BBA as well. And further, I mean, chartered
Especially
accountancy is also
BBA with
different interest.
EIMR has lot of packed programs. We keep the
Yeah.
students very busy, where he does a certification program along with the regular BBA degree. So it is like hitting two targets at one go. So you get a certification in entrepreneurship with all these kind of projects, exposure. Lot of things are there for students to do along
Yeah.
with the regular BBA assignments, exams, etc. So chartered accountancy cannot interrupt here. It's very difficult to map like.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And also, in order for you to be able to do the chartered accountancy, if you're interested in doing it, you really need to be able to think about why is it that you're wanting to do a CA and a BBA? I mean, for what purpose would you want to be able to do that? Are you doing it because I want to have every single possible option open? That doesn't make sense to me in terms of it's important to be able to kind of look at what would be the purpose of why you'd want to do the both. Somebody wants to be able to know, is there a significant difference between a BBA and a BBM?
No, actually, it is all the nomenclature. Some of the universities call it as bachelors of business management. And in Bangalore, typically, the universities, we are an affiliated college to Bengaluru University. There we call it as bachelors of business administration. Absolutely, there is no
Yeah, there's no
between
difference
them.
as
It is
such. It's
only a
just about
nomenclature.
that's a nomenclature thing. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know the difference between a 3-year versus a 4-year BBA program. So you have a
Oh, that's
distinct.
a good question, actually. According to the National Education Policy, since we are affiliated to Bengaluru University, which is a government authority, earlier when they launched this program, BBA, as per National Education Policy, it was an honors degree of 4 years. The students who joined for 2021, since that NEP was implemented, they launched it as a 4-year program, but a lot of changes are happening in the state, and the government keeps changing. Now we have a different government in the state, where there is a thought of coming out with a state education policy. As of now, it is 3 years, but can be extended up to 1 more year if required.
Right.
But the program is 3 years.
Right now, the program is 3 years. Okay, great. There are two questions that are there. One is asking us about the skills we need to do a BBA, and also asking us about a little bit about the placements at EIM.
Answering the first questions, we don't want you to be equipped with any skills to do BBA. Otherwise, we are going to equip with you with a lot of skills that is required for a student of BBA. What is that we want in you is the passion, and the commitment. Whatever you do, you should love and do what you love, and love finally what you do is what is required from your side. If you have that commitment and that entrepreneurial aspirations that I want to do a program, I am serious about doing it, and I am serious about meeting the leaders and then learning, then we are here to equip with you with a lot of skills, be it employment skills or transferable skills, cognitive skills, higher order thinking skills, including soft skills, research skills, analytical skills. In fact, each of the course focuses on one of these skills. So we will mention in our curriculum that what kind of skill is expected to be developed after completing that module. So when you come here, you will know when you look at that program, what is this program is all about. Say when we teach you digital transformation, for example, Excel, that is increasing your employable skills. So how can you be better? Or Power Business Analytics, Power BI we have. When you teach Power BI, your presentation skills, how to talk to people, how to make it more appealing, and what are the do's and don'ts, etc., and how technology can help you in that. We teach you that. So when we do ask you to do a project or internship, that is, focusing on the research skill, how depth and breadth you go into that aspect, what you have chosen, etc. Absolutely, you don't have to worry about the skills that you require. We will provide you the skills that is required, once you have your BBA with you. Can you tell, please, about EIMR placements? Yes, we do have placements, office here at EIMR. But as I told you, the basic focus is to create entrepreneurship, attitude among the students and instill that kind of what you call entrepreneurial abilities in the student, and work towards their agility and adaptability is our focus. But nothing stops us from providing you placements. And definitely you are equipped with a lot of skills, as mentioned in the previous thing, that we have an exclusive placement cell, and we can bring a lot of companies here, and then you can interact with them. And definitely, if you're really good, then nothing stops you from getting a good job. That should not be a problem at all. It all depends on how you are. Then, I can bring 100 companies here, but are you equipped well to tackle those things? So we are preparing you to tackle those things. We are preparing you to answer those things. So obviously, employment should not be a problem. If you wish that I will pursue my career, go to the company, work for a couple of years, and then see what can be done, definitely we are open for that. And institution has plans in place for such students.
Right, that's brilliant. And I think somebody's mentioned something about being able to join family business. I like the fact that there is a whole specialization in family business
there is
that you have there, that you mentioned.
Absolutely. So with a regular BBA degree, we have a specialized course for managing family business, and looking at and giving it a different orientation, and then syllabus is defined for that as well. There are people who are experts who are designing the curriculum for family managed business, and then you have a set of curriculum for that. Definitely we have that, and it is possible for you to pursue that specialization as well.
Superb. Great. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and ideas. It's a very exciting sounding course. I love the fact that there are certificate programs. I like the fact that you're talking about the student needs to bring the passion, and that there is the space provided for that passion to be able to then get honed into what they would eventually like to be able to do, whether it is work for an organization or be able to build their own organization and be an entrepreneur. And I really like the fact that you said that you don't need to be an entrepreneur to have your own, just by having your own company, you can be an entrepreneur within an organization as well. And that entrepreneurial thought process is what's really required as we go forward. And I think that's very important. Thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts with us and patiently answer all our questions. I hope students were able to get a lot more clarity, and you have people on, I think some information has been shared on how you can reach out to the institute. This is located in Bangalore. They do have a hostel facility as well. So thank you, Professor Suryanarayan, for taking the time to speak to us today and be able to share your thoughts. Thank you.
And,
Ishti,
my final tip to the student is that you should come here, experience the campus, look at the campus, interact with professors.
I agree.
Any clarification, that is like, that feel you get when you come here, and then definitely we can clarify.
I completely agree. I think nothing speaks better than being able to go and be able to speak. You're going to start a relationship with the institute. You should be comfortable in the space. You should be able to understand, and you have a right to be able to do that. I think it's a great way to be able to choose a place. And I think that you're being open to that is a brilliant thing. I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Ishti, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am, for this engaging webinar on BBA degree. And I hope the students, you found it engaging. Like I found it very engaging. And I hope all of your questions were answered. Thank you so much for asking all those questions and keeping this webinar alive. So thank you so much, students. And please feel free to reach us to Mindler for any other career-related query that you have. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for your time. In the chat, you have the number on which you can reach out to the institute. So please feel free to make a note of that. And in case you missed this, mail us at hello@Mindler, and we'll send the number and give you the information as well. In case there's any other career-related information you want, or you want to be able to find out more, you can mail us as well. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you, sir, for taking the time.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, students.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.